Good afternoon, everyone. I am Ismanel Royandoyan, second reporter from Group 8. This is a continuation of the report of Mr. Selga. Recognizing power and organizational politics. Power and politics are two faces of a single coin. Power and politics must be recognized as an important dynamic behavior. Organizations are highly political and power is the name of the game. Sometimes, power is difficult to recognize because it is not always overt or directly observable. Individuals with more power, whatever its sources can be, expected to be relatively more successful in achieving their goals than those with less power. There are three sources of power. First, possession power. It derived from the top management and is delegated down the chain of command. Second, personal power, derived from followers based on an individual's behavior. Then the last one is the empowerment, giving power to the employees. Organizational politics. It attempts to influence others using the discretionary behaviors to promote personal objectives. Politics may be good or bad for the organization, depending on the people or individual how to use their power in a certain organization. People will attempt to balance power relationship. Politics involve efforts both to gain power and limit or balance the power of others. There are four styles or ways in which people with less power can act to equalize or balance power in a relationship. First, decrease their needs or demands. Second, increase their alternative sources of getting what they want. Third, increase other people's needs or demands for our help. Fourth, decrease other people's alternative sources. These all based on the idea that dependence reduces power and independence increasing power. The structure of power touches many aspects of organizational life. Cantor 1977 argued that the behavior of members of a certain groups, particularly women and minorities, can be explained by the structural factors in the organization rather than by the stereotypical attributes of those groups. She also argued that men and women behave differently in organizations not because of gender differences, but rather because of the structural characteristic of the rules. Women tend to be the clustered in low power, dependent, and low mobility positions. This powerlessness leads to ineffective management behavior. Politics and power are an organizational pact of life, and they have both positive and negative consequences. Power, when used in a positive way, it could be influencing, persuading, leading, and sealing. Wilson in 1995 found that when leaders use power in a positive manner, it enhances organizational commitment. They use their power to provide employees with needed information to obtain necessary resources. However, we also need to remember that power can be abused in organization. It could be coercing, forcing, hurting, and crushing. Power can be used in a manner that negatively affects others' sense of dignity and self-respect in both styles and substance. Managing power and organizational politics. Power is a quick and efficient means of influencing others. Cotter 1977 suggests that managers should use power to influence the behavior of others in a manner that will allow managers to get things done. Gatses and Courtesy 2009 suggests that fostering a positive organizational climate requires not only eliminating negative political behavior, but also developing positive ethical political behavior such as collaboration and constructive conflict management. Most people think of political skills as manipulative and negative, but basically, it is building connection with other people. In a positive sense, politically skilled people foster supportive and trusting environments to benefit organizations, which will lead to higher job satisfaction. There are four dimensions of political skills. One, social astuteness or the emotional intelligence. They understand and positively influence the emotion of others. Second, the interpersonal influence. It builds a strong influence to others. Third, the networking ability. Employees who possess this skill build friendship and generate effective working relationships by garnering support, negotiating, and managing conflict. Fourth is sincerity. Politically skilled individuals are sincere. They are genuine in the interactions with organizations. What is empowerment? And how can managers empower others? Empowerment is the process by which managers help others to acquire and use the power needed to make decisions affecting themselves and their work. Provides the foundation for self-managing work teams and other employee involvement groups. Empowerment also extends to the public. Empowering citizens to participate with them, public servants can find greater meaning and intrinsic value in their work, leading to a higher level of motivation and commitment. That was according to Pellman and Academia in 2003. Before I end my report, I have here an attached video to understand how important is empowerment. Again, thank you for listening. Keep safe and God bless.
We all know these images of Charlie Chaplin in modern times and the Henry Ford assembly line. For a long time, our plants and industries operated in this manner. Everyone at the workstation, each responsible for a specific task, based on the assumption that when we relentlessly repeat the same tasks, we are more productive. Well, maybe when simple products were mass-produced, but at a time when complex, diversified products are manufactured using flexible production methods, it's far from certain. Over the years, things have of course evolved. More than 80 years ago, Edouard Michelin said, "One of our principles is to give responsibility to the person who carries out a given task because he knows a lot about the question. In addition, this often makes him realize that he has capabilities that he didn't know he had and enables him to move forward." In recent years, the group has taken this approach to the next level, introducing the empowering organization work method that would have allowed Charlie Chaplin to perform more effectively, grow within the company, and find personal fulfillment while also enabling the company to become more agile and flexible. This organization reflects the group's trust in its team members and enables each of them to feel even more engaged while more effectively serving customers. In 2013, this ambitious, innovative approach is boosted within the group's manufacturing teams. The goal is to strengthen the Michelin manufacturing way by developing each team's autonomy in managing its own performance and progress. That's because we firmly believe that giving team members the opportunity to manage their day-to-day responsibilities independently is a winning proposition for employees, customers, and the company. I said earlier that this approach is ambitious, and you'll quickly understand what I meant. Based on confidence and individual commitment, it's an innovative management method that raises many questions. Do employees really want to be more empowered? Doesn't autonomy frighten them? Are teams ready for this change? Isn't there a risk of disorganization that could endanger results? And what about managers? What happens to them? And what about support teams? These are all logical questions. That's why we asked 38 business units, 38 frontline teams if you prefer, in 18 plants around the world to devise and test the empowering organizations of tomorrow. It's a sort of advanced research laboratory intended to give form to the concept of autonomous operation. Since their mission was to demonstrate the feasibility of self-managed teams, we decided to call these 38 business units demonstrators. For 1 year, around 1,500 people discussed freely and openly how they wanted to operate autonomously on a day-to-day basis. True, they were a little lost at first. What am I supposed to be doing? But they very quickly understood that they had the answer and that we were counting on them, and thus the approach began to meet and exceed all expectations. This team is developing its schedule collaboratively, and everyone knows what the others are doing. They don't have to do anything to feel concerned, since they are concerned. One morning, something unexpected occurs. Carlos is sick and cannot man his workstation. The problem is no longer the manager's, since everyone is involved in finding a quick, efficient, logical solution. In 10 minutes, the problem is solved. John will replace Carlos for the day so that production doesn't have to slow down. John is proud to contribute to his team's performance and acquire new skills. And when he thinks of Charlie Chaplin, he realizes that times really have changed. In this shop, Julia, the manager, has led, developed, and trained her team members so that together they manage their own life as a team, as well as their performance. Julia has become a coach for her team members. And she likes this role, which enhances perception of her within a fulfilled team that isn't playing to obey others, but to win. In this business unit, like the 37 others, everyone at all levels is more autonomous and empowered, while the company has become more flexible and responsive. This approach releases energy so that knowledge can spread throughout all the group's units, which are expecting one thing only: more autonomy and mutual trust between individuals, teams, and managers. In a word, more air. Free to think and act in areas that they know best, employees can share their ideas and support the innovation process. This, in turn, will enable them to move forward.